with us on Times Now. This is Times Now Live and I'm Hina Gambhir. Viewers, you're watching our continuous coverage of the joint attack by US and Israel on Iran and what is happening thereafter. After US President Donald Trump confirmed major combat operations are underway, now what we are witnessing, viewers, is retaliation by Iran. And after we got reports of how Israel has also confirmed that Iran has retaliated, now we are getting reports of, in fact, attack in Bahrain as well. And those are the first set of visuals that we are getting for you at this point in time. The exact moment when an Iranian missile allegedly struck the US base in Bahrain. And those are the first set of visuals we are getting for you. It's a viral video. We cannot, of course, confirm the authenticity, but this is something that the reports are suggesting right now. It's a developing story. Lots of information coming in from different news portals as well. But we are looking at what is authentic information, and that's what we are trying to bring for you. But this is the viral video that we are getting at this point in time. What we have learned is that Bahrain has said that the headquarters of US Navy's Fifth Fleet has been targeted in a missile attack. That's something that the Associated Press has reported. Joining us on the broadcast right now are my guests. We also have with us my colleague Srinjoy Chaudhary, who is joining us live right now in the newsroom, in the studio with me. And as far as the guests are concerned, we have with us retired Major General Sanjay Meston, who is ex-Defense Attaché Afghanistan, former MP Knesset Einat Wilf, chair of Oz Party and author of War of Return. And also joining us is Ashok Kumar, Associate Professor of Political Economy, Birkbeck University of London. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. Srinjoy, to you first. Let's take our viewers through what exactly we are witnessing right now. Earlier, we got reports of how, Bahrain has also been targeted. These are reports coming in from Associated Press. Any information that you have with this regard?
Yes, this was widely expected, and Times Now had said, even before the attack, that when the Iranians hit back, one or two places they would definitely hit were Bahrain and Qatar, because that's where American military assets are. Now, there are significant naval assets in Bahrain, and in fact, there is even an Indian naval officer, I think a captain, who is there in Bahrain. So it was widely expected that Bahrain would be targeted, and that has happened. Qatar has also been hit. So apart from Israel, which was again a target for the Iranians, now we don't know how much damage, whether the missiles have hit and how much damage has been caused. That is not known. But yes, there are reports of Bahrain being targeted, Qatar being targeted, and of course Israel will be targeted. All of that is known. We'll have to see how this goes. This is just the beginning, is what we must say, because all this, the operations are barely a few hours old. This has just started. So what kind of impact there has been, how much damage has been caused, what the next steps are, remains to be seen. But of course, this is the beginning, and a very troubled beginning, because keeping in mind India, let's not forget there are 9 million Indians roughly in West Asia, and a lot of India's crude oil comes from that area. Let's also not forget that 80% of India's crude oil requirements are imported.
Well, absolutely. What impact will this have on the crude oil price going forward? That's a cause of concern for the entire world as well. And like Srinjoy, you're mentioning this is perhaps just the beginning, because the kind of statements, viewers, that we have got from US President Donald Trump on this operation and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on this operation only seems to suggest both these countries are looking for a regime change when it comes to Iran. But now the retaliatory action that we are seeing from Iran is also very, very significant. And it seems, Major General Sanjay Meston, that Iran also seems to be activating its axis of resistance, isn't it? And what do you make of these attacks that we are witnessing in parts of Abu Dhabi, Bahrain? US bases clearly are being targeted, because as Shinjo was also mentioning earlier, of course, Iran can't directly attack the United States of America, and hence perhaps the bases in other countries are being targeted.
See, let's be very clear. The attack by Iran on the US bases in all these West Asian countries was expected, and I think United States was well aware about it. Only problem now what is happening on ground is, see, results matter on ground. On ground, I think the 5th Fleet Headquarters has been, the US 5th Fleet Headquarters has been with, which is actually not a good thing for the United States, because strategic targeting sends lot of strong messages to the winning side and of course to the losing side. Now, what is going to be the impact of these strikes? Now, it all depends on the number of casualties happening on the United States side. See, if you weigh the casualties, for Iran, number of casualties are not going to have any impact. But for United States and Israel, the number of casualties is going to have an impact on the people of Israel and the people of America respectively. I remember when I was in Afghanistan, and with the large number of body bags we used to go to United States, the American public would then, not be happy with the decisions what the then administration had taken. So if there are large number of US casualties, which President Trump has anticipated it will be there in his speech also, but if the casualties are huge, I think you will have a public resentment in the United States, and this will perhaps augur well for the Iran, and that is what they want. They want huge devastation on the Americans, not only in terms of military destruction, but in terms of death and casualties to the United States people deployed there. Now, it all remains to be seen in the next 72 hours. It's going to be a very important, the way things are spiraling out. And let me tell you right now, the oil refineries on either sides have not been targeted. That means on the Saudi side or the Qatar side, and similarly on the Iranian side. God forbid those are attacked. I think the oil prices are going to spiral out of control. It is going to affect the entire global supply chain. Things are going to be very devastating. Right. And another problem in this war is, who's going to stop this war? There's going to be no peacemaker. United Nations, as it is defunct. And if United States itself is in war, there's going to be no mediation by anyone. So therefore, how will this war end? This war, how it will end, very difficult to predict. It all depends on the staying power of Iran and how many effective missiles they can continue to launch, because United States and Israel will like to achieve one thing, which President Trump had also stated, that they will like to target their missile capabilities in terms of destroying the infrastructure, the launch sites. If they can achieve this in the next 72 hours,
right,
things can take a different turn. So the next 72 hours in terms of United States casualty, vis-a-vis, the number of missiles being interdicted of Iranian by the US bombers, etc., is going to show the direction of the next, the house.
Saying that next 72 hours clearly are extremely critical. We have some breaking inputs coming in, and we're also telling our viewers about what's happening simultaneously while we continue this very important discussion with our guests. The latest update, viewers, is that you can see flashing on your screens right now. UAE has temporarily closed its airspace. UAE has, closed the airspace as a precautionary measure, and state media, in fact, has made this announcement that airspace, in fact, has been shut down. Air traffic has been suspended temporarily. Flights are going to be impacted because of the regional tension that we are witnessing right now. And we also got to know that there have been some attacks in parts of Abu Dhabi as well. Following that, UAE has now temporarily closed its airspace. Let me go back to my guests who continue to be with us at this point in time. Now, Professor Kumar, what do you make of the response by Iran, the statements by US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu? And the question really is that till about yesterday, we were talking about perhaps there's going to be some kind of a solution. Geneva talks happened yesterday, and then this morning we all are seeing a joint operation by America and Israel on Iran.
Well, we know for fact that these negotiations were effectively a ruse. Israel never wanted any kind of agreement. They opposed Obama's agreement with Iran, and Oman, which was the mediator, came out and said that they had an agreement, but they bombed anyways. Israel's always targeted Iran because Iran is the only counterforce to the Israeli regime's violence towards Palestinians, against Lebanon, against the neighbors, and their support for the axis of resistance. The U.S. is operating almost exclusively, and this is not really debatable, at the behest of Israel. And Israel was the aggressor here and is the aggressor here. There's no such thing as preemptive strikes. And yes, like the person before me said, it'll all depend, peace will depend on how swiftly and how vigorously and how robustly the Iranians can respond to Israeli and American aggression. And the main place that's going to happen is going to be at sea with ships and air force carriers. And those are very clear targets because they don't have the same missile defense capabilities that you have on land. And Iran now has hypersonic missiles that are capable of attacking those. And Trump said in his speech there'll be lots of casualties. But that doesn't take away from the fact that 2-to-1 Americans oppose this. We've never seen this in the past. With the Iraq War, they were able to build hegemony. With Afghanistan, they were able to build hegemony. Americans overwhelmingly oppose this war. The only country that wants this war is Israel and the Israeli, genocidal state. And so Americans are acting in that behest. And I hope that Iran will be able to respond to this aggression with the defense that they are right to have under international law.
Okay, some important points you have raised, and I'll take those points across to my other guests as well. But before that, we have some more breaking inputs as well coming in at this point in time. In fact, Qatar has also now issued an alert on mobile devices recommending all residents to stay indoors, whether at home or elsewhere. They should stay away from all military bases. Qatar, we are being told, is also being targeted. Ali Al Salem Air Base has been targeted in Kuwait. This is what reports are suggesting right now. Al Dhafra Air Base in UAE has been targeted. In Bahrain, US Navy's 5th Fleet Base has been targeted. So in total, what we are getting for our viewers right now is that Iran is claiming attack on 4 US bases. This is what Iranian media is reporting right now. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar has been targeted, an air base in Kuwait specifically, and in Bahrain as well. US Navy's 5th Fleet Base has been targeted. So this is the latest update that we are getting for you. And it's getting clearly serious because the expectation was there, Ms. Wilf, that US will be targeting Iran, and that's the reason why countries had also started putting out advisories, even though talks were continuing. Geneva talks happened yesterday, but still countries had started putting advisories that, their people should either come out of, Iran or, ensure that they stay indoors only. But what do you make of the latest updates that we are getting? The retaliation by Iran that we are witnessing, America's bases are being targeted in other countries. Ms. Ainat, can you hear me?
Yes. We're here in the safe room. Everyone is essentially doing as they said. The United States has made it clear. The United States always operates slowly, but once it operates, it does it with the force and might of the overwhelming global superpower. At this moment, Iran said it will retaliate against American bases, but the United States made a promise to the people of Iran. There is actually a very strong force that wants this war, and this is overwhelmingly the people of Iran themselves who took to the streets, who believed in an American promise that America has their back, that America will come to their aid, and in many ways, an order that depends on the United States coming to the aid of people who say they want that freedom, who are taking insane risks by going to the streets. America cannot afford to not show that it is true to its promise to stand by the people of Iran who are seeking freedom. I can tell you here, I am in the safe room, as all Israelis are now, shielding themselves from the attacks. And I can tell you that the spirit in Israel is that we stand in solidarity with the people of Iran. And Israelis are actually going to the web to say very clearly on social media, if we need to be in the safe room, if we need to take a hit so that the people of Iran can finally be free of one of the most murderous, oppressive regimes in the last half century, then it will have been worth it.
Okay. We are getting more breaking inputs at this point in time. We are getting information about explosion in Doha as well. Srinjoy, now more updates coming in, and it's clearly getting serious. Like you said, it has just started. It's just the beginning. This is what US and Israeli officials are also saying. US officials, in fact, have also said it won't end anytime soon. This conflict, in fact, is going to continue for a few more days. And now, after getting reports of US bases getting targeted in UAE and Qatar, now reports coming in from Doha as well, there has been an explosion. Israeli air defense system is also activated, because now we are getting reports of missiles being launched towards Jerusalem as well. Israeli air defense system has been activated. Iranian missiles have been neutralized by Israeli defense system. So clearly, it's a war. It's not just US and Israel targeting Iran. Iran seems to be retaliating in almost equal measure now.
Iran was expected to hit back, and they have quite a lot of missiles and drones, and these are cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and so on. Short range, medium range, and the targets were always very clear. Qatar, Bahrain, because this is where the Americans have defense bases. They have militaries in these two areas, so they were definitely going to be targeted. Israel, of course, would have been targeted, and they have. Now it's a question of how long Iran can continue to strike these places, and also if they're going to strike the American fleets. There is the Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group. There is also the other U.S. Carrier Strike Group coming towards this area, the Gerald Ford. Plus, in between, the Americans moved in 4 more guided missile destroyers. The Frank Peterson, the Spruance, the McFall, and the Mixture. These are guided missile destroyers that the Americans moved to the area. So there's no shortage of firepower as far as America is concerned. So we have to see how this goes, because 2 carrier groups plus 4 guided missile destroyers plus 2 littoral warships. That's a lot of firepower, plus bombers in Diego Garcia. So there's no shortage of firepower. We just have to see how long this lasts, what the objectives are. Because if you want regime change, if you actually want regime change, as opposed to just speaking about it, then we are looking at a longer game. If you want a lesson for Iran, in your terms, that's something else altogether. So what is it that America wants? What is it that Israel wants? What is it that Iran can do? How much can Iran fight back with their missiles, with their other weapons, remains to be seen. As you rightly said, this is only a few hours old.
Well, absolutely. And viewers, those are the first set of pictures we are getting for you from Jerusalem. Israel is now intercepting in the ballistic missiles that are emerging reportedly from Iran. And what we are witnessing right now is a retaliatory strike that has been launched by Iran. And those are the first set of visuals that we are getting for you at this point in time. Israeli Defense Forces saying retaliatory strikes have been launched by Iran and missiles are being shot down over Jerusalem sky. Ms. Ainat, you were telling us that you are in a safe house right now, but how is the situation like right now? What kind of advisories are being issued? Because as Srinjoy, my colleague, was also mentioning, is just few hours old. What we are witnessing right now, this operation that has been launched jointly by US and Israel, and nobody really knows when is it going to end.
Certainly. Israelis were woken early this morning with a nationwide siren, essentially telling all of us to prepare to go to our safe rooms, to go to the safe spaces where we can be protected. Israelis, as I'm sure you know, are experienced in that. Israelis have also watched the American buildup. So generally, they were prepared. Our home front has been prepared. And basically, Israelis are all now sitting in their respective safe spaces. And as I said, the spirit actually is one of kind of strong resilience, and especially a notion that we are doing it in solidarity with the people of Iran who finally deserve to be free of a regime that has taken their considerable capabilities and abused them for this stupid goal of death to America and death to Israel. And you can look at history. Generally, every regime that has taken the capabilities of its people and prioritized destroying what others have built, prioritized obsessing about Jewish conspiracies, some of which I'm surprised to have heard here. All regimes that have been obsessed with Jewish conspiracies, with destroying what the Jews have built, have ultimately found themselves in the dustbin of history. The Nazis, the Soviets, the Pan-Arabists, the Ayatollah regime will be no different.
Okay. Professor Kumar, are we also looking at the possibility of something that happened with the Venezuelan president just a couple of weeks ago? Because look at how Trump made that statement earlier today. And later, a similar kind of a statement, similar intent, in fact, was reflected in the statement that was made by Israeli Prime Minister too.
I mean, listening to this MP from so-called Israel in their safe house talking about how this is solidarity is laughable. Israel is a genocidal state. They've committed a genocide. Their leaders are now have warrants out for their arrest by the ICC for war crimes. They bombed 9 countries in 2 years. And now they've initiated an attack on Iran, a country that hasn't attacked another country without retaliation for 300 years. Israel hasn't stopped attacking other countries. So where are the safe houses for the people of Iran? Where are the safe houses for the Palestinians that are being murdered every day, every single day? Since the ceasefire, 550 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed. So please, nobody in the world sympathizes with genocidal, psychopathic narcissists in Israel talking about how they're being in their safe houses. Where are the safe houses for the Palestinians? And so when we talk about the American regime and the Israeli regime, the Americans have bombed Venezuela, have starved Cuba, are threatening to bomb Greenland, now bombing Iran, bombed Iraq, killed 1 million Iraqis. The bad people in this are Israel and America, and nobody's going to be convinced otherwise. And any of these sympathetic, I'm in a safe room nonsense, nobody's falling for it anymore. Everyone opposes this war. It's a deeply unpopular war, even in America. Britain isn't even supporting America in this war. That should tell you enough. And so this is a war of aggression. It's illegal under international law, and Iran has every right to respond to this aggression.
Well, absolutely. War is something that never helps anybody, because, of course, it has repercussions, and what we are witnessing right now are explosions, in fact, that have been heard in Riyadh as well. This is the latest update that we are getting for our viewers at this point in time. In Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, according to AFP News, what we are getting for our viewers is that explosions have been heard in Saudi's Riyadh as well. And me and Srinjoy were just talking about it, that as of now we are getting reports from UAE and Qatar. Perhaps they're not going to be touching Saudi Arabia, but even that has happened. Explosions have been heard in Riyadh as well. Viewers, we are going to be continuing our coverage on what's happening between Israel, America and Iran, and the retaliation by Iran. Slipping into a very, very short break. Our guests continue to be with us. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us on Times Now.